The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Filmjitsu, the podcast that wields films like deadly weapons. We are your hosts. I am Mike.
And I am Jay.
On this week's episode of Filmjitsu, Jason's going to sit down with the mockumentary Wrinkles the Clown from 2019.
Yeah.
We're going to do our bottom 5 movie punishments, play a couple of rounds of Dueling Double Bills before Jay reveals what film I have to watch as punishment for all of this clowning around. But before we get into any of that, let's go ahead and roll the trailer for Wrinkles the Clown.
There's a trailer for this movie?
There's got to be. It's probably most of the movie. It's probably one of those, you know?
Ugh.
I found out about Wrinkles through a news story.
Meet Southwest Florida's Wrinkles the Clown.
Hi, Wrinkles. I'm a reporter at the Washington Post.
I'm a reporter at the Naples Daily News.
I've just seen your story blow up online.
You can call him. He'll scare people for you.
Are you Wrinkles the Clown? You're scaring little people that can't defend themselves. I'll take this baseball bat and beat your brains in.
You don't know if he's trying to do this for fun or trying to kill you. It's like a boogeyman situation.
Oh my God!
We know that there's a human underneath, and yet you don't know his identity, and that creeps people out.
You better be afraid of Rink. He's real.
By calling him, you're essentially inviting him into your life.
Jason, Wrinkles the Clown is not the kind of film that I think a lot of people are aware of by its title. But I do think a lot of people in this age of streaming thumbnails might be familiar with the image of Wrinkles the Clown. And this is how I came across this film, is just scrolling for something to watch. I kept coming across this really striking image of this creepy clown in front of all these balloons and Wrinkles the Clown. I was like, what is this? And I just passed it by, but it kept popping up.
This is like when you spend hours on Tubi. Is that what's happening here?
No, it was actually a surprise that Wrinkles the Clown isn't buried in the internet netherworld. Like, I found it kind of easily, and it just always stuck in my craw where I was like, what is that? I'm not going to mess with it, but what is that thing? One day, of course, I decided to find out, and I watched a few minutes of it, just a few, and I was like, I'm going to file this away for a Santo situation. And so here we are. And I think the thing I am most interested in talking about with you, especially with your background as a filmmaker, is the structure and the form of Wrinkles the Clown. Because are we dealing with a documentary, a mockumentary? Is it recreations? How do we explain what this film is?
I think the idea ultimately was a fake documentary, which I guess is a mockumentary, but mockumentary presupposes almost satire. And this wasn't satirical. It was presented as a straight documentary.
Right.
Here is Wrinkles the Clown, Naples, Florida. Stickers start appearing all over the place with a phone number on it in this face. Clown face, clown makeup, white. It's a mask. Just dark gaps where the eyes should be. Very unsettling looking, for sure.
Yeah.
No one's going to go up to Wrinkles the Clown, much as I always say about the newer Pennywise. No one would ever go up to the newer Pennywise.
Right.
Well, no one's ever going to go up to Wrinkles, or so I would expect.
Sure. Yeah.
However, someone puts these stickers up, presumably Wrinkles himself, and it's got his phone number. And the idea is that you can call that phone number, talk to Wrinkles. He'll come by your house and scare your kids into acting right. So they have these interviews with Wrinkles as an older, grumpy guy that lives out of a trailer, doesn't have much going on. They don't show his face. He doesn't want to be seen. And then about an hour into this runtime, they suddenly reveal that none of what they've shown for the prior hour is true. That was just performance art. That Wrinkles himself is performance art. And it's actually performed by a much younger artist who staged the YouTube videos that went viral in 2015 or so. The movie came out in 2019. So here we've got this movie that's structured as a straight documentary, and it's not all that groundbreaking, but it's fairly interesting.
Mhm.
They show children that are impacted by Wrinkles, both positively with a question mark and negatively. They show parents, or that really they play audio clips of parents tormenting their children who are screaming in the background
Right.
that they're going to bring Wrinkles to their house to straighten them out.
Like a
because they're not
boogeyman, right?
Well, it's 100% like the boogeyman,
Sure.
yeah. I didn't think it was a particularly engaging documentary from the get-go. It was upsetting to me because the parents were assholes as far as I could tell.
Mhm.
And the children that they showed, which I'm still not even sure if they were real or actors or not.
Mhm.
There was one kid in particular who really wanted to be a killer, quote unquote, clown, sort of.
Yeah.
He wanted to act out fantasies involving the clown. And I'm like, is that real? Is that not real? I don't know what's going on. As it turns out, when I'm watching it, I'm thinking it's real. But then once they reveal that this is all a performance art thing, I'm like, well, what's real and what isn't?
Yeah. And that is a big question here. And I will tell you, as I think maybe I had said when I first gave you this movie, I kind of broke my own rule here.
Mhm.
I did watch this, which is not something that I typically do, right? With these
Insane.
But I knew that it was going to be impossible to have a conversation about something this weird without having seen it myself. And so I'm glad that I did, because you're right. It is really hard to understand what is fiction, what is reality, who is kind of in on it, where and when, even though the film itself kind of gives you all those answers. You're absolutely right. There are scenes of those kids terrified as these parents are taking this joy in scaring. Kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen these videos, and I think maybe this is when somebody ought to come and just take kids out of a home. Videos of like parents convincing their kids that Santa is taking all their presents, or like this. Yeah, I think this was like maybe it was a Jimmy Fallon thing, or like there was a late night bit where parents were filming their kids having these major disappointing moments only to tell them we're just kidding.
Jimmy Kimmel? Should we call Trump?
It might have been him. I don't really remember.
God.
But the lines of what was real and what was not real are just blurred all over this thing.
Yeah. And well, I think that's intentional.
It is. It's certainly intentional.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. It makes a really interesting choice to kind of come clean halfway through the movie.
Not even halfway. It's just in the final 30 minutes or so.
Right.
So it's a real head spin.
Mhm.
The director, Michael Beach Nichols, he's known for this kind of documentary about fringe subcultures.
Mhm.
And his frequent collaborator, Christopher K. Walker, who's his editor and producer, they like to shape narratives into a hybrid of documentary and mockumentary.
Mhm.
So this is all very intentional for sure. But first of all, this movie's 80 minutes long. Is that right?
Yeah, it felt right around there. Yeah, I think so.
Right. Oh, it felt that way to you? It felt like a 5.5-hour documentary. It did not hold my attention, and it kept frustrating me because at every turn, it felt like I wasn't quite getting the story.
Mhm.
The narrative didn't feel as though it was being delivered to me effectively.
Mhm.
And I couldn't understand why until an hour in when they say, it's just a joke. Never mind. Because the thing is, I wanted to see a lot more about the psychology of this kind of thing.
Yes.
Or the psychopathy
of
it, if you will. There were little hints and drips and drabs of quote unquote Wrinkles' backstory, this manufactured backstory of a 65-year-old man that lives alone on, I think, retirement checks that barely cover his gas for his mobile home.
Yep.
And whatever extra money he makes as Wrinkles, he uses at a strip club. That stuff was interesting to me, but I wanted to dive into the psychology of that as well as more into the psychology of children and of not necessarily the clowns, although I was surprised to see clips from it and Poltergeist. That was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Some rights buys there that I didn't expect.
Yep, for sure.
But it never felt quite baked.
Because this could have been 30 minutes on the Oxygen Network, maybe half an episode of one of those like true crime shows about the viral story of the creepy clowns. A lot of this came out of the 20-teen clown panic thing, right? And
we had satanic panic, and then we had clown panic.
We had clown panic, right? And it was kind of a thing. Some of us remember there were
clowns appearing,
and that's kind of what kicked off Wrinkles specifically, was this viral video of Wrinkles the Clown coming out from under a kid's bed.
It was a trundle bed, and it was hilarious because it wasn't even the guy that quote unquote played Wrinkles, typically the creator. They had to get someone else that was really thin to come up.
Yeah, right.
It's just so manufactured. The whole thing is, and that's great to know. I mean, oh, good. Yay. We've been tricked. And I'm glad that this isn't a real thing and that parents aren't really calling Wrinkles and telling him to come to their house to straighten their kids out, because that's absolutely insane. That's what's funny is what it reminded me a little bit about as I'm watching it was this cultural thing that happens when it comes to teaching children.
Mm-hmm.
And this is gonna leap off in a very weird direction.
Let's do it. Great.
And I don't know why this occurred to me when it did, but some time ago, when Diego was very, very little, I had read something about the Inuit and how they use cautionary tales, often involving frightening figures, for the sake of teaching communal safety or morality.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got some weird and really scary stuff that they pull out to keep kids off literal thin ice.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
When you live in a dangerous place, you really have to come up with some shit to keep kids from falling through the ice or off the edge of the cliff or stay out of the river because of the crocodiles, whatever it is, right?
They have a creature that will come and steal children if they get too close to the water's edge. They have a legend of a head-eating ogress, whatever the hell that is, who lures children with colorful stones to keep youngsters straying far away from camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you've got the demon with a permanent grin that tickles victims to death. And they teach kids that when they're traveling, they must stay alert, or else this thing will seize upon them and tickle them to death. So again, most of the monsters that they create are for safety reasons.
Sure.
But they do have some for morality reasons as well. When I read about this, when Diego was very small, he had been already stretching the truth. Had already been lying. And I decided in my infinite wisdom that it would be a great idea to introduce the tongue stealer to this. And that if he lies, that the tongue stealer could come and take his tongue and he would never be able to speak again.
Wow.
Because I wanted to see if something like this, that the Inuit practice, could work on a child very, very, very young who will not remember the tongue stealer once he gets older. He will not remember any of what I said to him, but maybe subconsciously there will be a hesitancy baked into him not to lie.
Okay. Listen, I just disclaimer here. This is an aside. Hey, everybody just hold on a second. I'm going to talk to Diego now in the future. Hey, bud, this is your Uncle Mike talking. Look, your dad just told us some kind of messed up stuff. Whatever you've been going through, I know that you turned out fine. I'm sure you were living a full, healthy, happy life. I'm sorry for whatever insanity was in your dad's brain. And we're back. Okay. Yes.
Okay,
that's
great. Well, thank you very much.
It is funny because we do have these things. I mean, how is that really any different than the elf on the shelf, which we just sort of invented, right?
Yeah.
As
and
like
we don't do that here. We just have the tongue stealer.
We just have the tongue stealer at your house. But, and you raise a good point, is right. Like every culture, we have these cautionary tales. We have these morality tales, whether we're talking Krampus or Santa Claus or whatever it is, we have these kind of things. And I think it's really interesting that the avenue it wanted to take with Wrinkles the Clown was sort of the impact on the community. And I think part of that was a fascination at the time with clowns. There is we could get into a whole thing about scary clowns, right? The fear of clowns, which I had to look up, is coulrophobia, the persistent, irrational fear of clowns. I think anybody who is afraid of clowns would tell you that's a perfectly rational fear.
I think what it all comes down to is the circus, ultimately. The circus is freaky and weird.
Sure.
And clowns are very much associated with circus. And I think of the movie Freaks, and I think that movie really represents the subconscious fear that a lot of us have of the circus. We have a deep-seated, I don't know if I would call it a fear so much as maybe a phobia of disfigurements, right? Or clowns with these painted faces,
right? Big feet,
where they're always
big noses,
frowning, but they're smiling. And that's an unsettling juxtaposition in our minds. All of it is. Everything that you see in the circus, in the freak show, in all of this stuff.
And I think even we have an inherent sense when you go to a circus that what you're seeing on the outside is very different than what's actually beneath the surface, just like a clown. Like, you know that behind the scenes, it's real weird. And like the animals aren't being taken care of. And these people are like, you have an inherent sense that the show you're seeing is not the real deal. And I think it's that same thing with the clown.
Yeah. There's a dichotomy.
Yeah.
When we think of the circus, we think of a facade of happiness that is unsettling.
Yeah.
And underneath it is depression, disfigurement, ostracism, and that kind of thing is what plays out when you talk about clown fear. I think that there's a lot of subconscious work that happens, and I do feel as though it's related to the circus.
Yeah. And before we bail on this conversation and run screaming from the clown in the cornfield, we cannot end this conversation without talking about one more thing. And actually, part of my motivation for giving you Wrinkles the Clown, I had a little bit of an agenda here, which is that by having a conversation about Wrinkles the Clown, I was future-proofing us from ever watching any of the Terrifier films for Filmjitsu.
Oh, that's interesting. I forgot about Art the Clown.
Yes. And I think it's an important conversation to have because we cannot be talking about clowns in 2025 without talking about Art the Clown, who really has become, in horror circles, an icon. You will now see Art the Clown. If there's a poster with Michael and Jason and Freddy, you might get Art the Clown in there now. He's
entered the pantheon.
He really kind of has in a lot of ways, right? First introduced in Damien Leone's All Hallows Eve. It was an anthology kind of thing and has just exploded into these huge, really popular, extremely grotesque films. And for me to be sitting here telling you like, this is hard to watch, that tells you something. We talked a little bit about it when we talked about The Mean One, because it's the same kind of thing where Art the Clown is a non-speaking character. So he's a very physically animated clown, and there's a lot of humor in what he is doing. There are some really deeply, darkly funny moments with Art the Clown where he is doing this just unspeakably horrific stuff. And so again, it's that juxtaposition between the kind of the light and the dark.
It's the same thing. I think it's overdone. I think it's cliche at this point.
Yes.
I think Wrinkles the Clown was a waste of time. So congratulations there. Ultimately, I wasn't real happy that we watched the movie, but I was happy that we could talk about the idea of how you can instill a sense of safety and morality in children with a little bit of fear. Whether or not that's the right way to go, we'll let our listeners decide.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mike, when you came up with bottom 5 punishments, I hit a wall.
Really?
Oh, man. I hit a wall. I was spinning my wheels trying to think of random punishments in movies. And then it clicked. I'm not going to say how it clicked, but this is the weirdest bottom 5 I've ever come up with.
Oh, I love that.
And it's much more in line with the kind of thing that you would do.
Great. Cool.
So I'm going to throw it back to you. I want to know how you went about this.
Yeah.
And what's your number 5?
Well, it seemed like an interesting topic for this. We could have done bottom 5 clowns. I think that would have been boring. I had kind of a blast thinking about this. And I'll be honest with you. I smashed through the wall like the Kool-Aid man, and I had so many different ideas and so many different examples and so many different directions that I think at the end of the day, I have 5, and I'm almost a little disappointed in my list. I feel like I really, I feel like if I really dug in deep, I could have come up with a much better bottom 5 because I just had so many. But for my number 5, I'm starting on the very lighter side of punishment.
Okay.
This is not especially cruel. No one gets hurt, but it's pretty weird. In fact, it's so weird that we're running up against another example of the Doubtfire syndrome, where perhaps in the world of the movie, it's all fun and games. But if this happened in real life, it would be pretty messed up with a lot of questions and uncomfortable answers. Because as punishment for being a lazy dipshit, Billy Madison has to repeat grades 1 through 12 in order to inherit his father's company.
Class, say hello to Billy Madison.
Hello, Billy Madison.
Billy is a nuisance. He will be gone in 2 weeks. I apologize for this inconvenience.
Geez, what's up her butt?
What was that, Billy?
I said reading is good. Can we start the story now?
Right, and it's
that's kind of terrible.
Yeah, and part of it is like he needs
a good choice.
Yeah,
no,
he needs to be
good choice.
Like proving something, but he's being punished for having been who
100%,
he is, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? This is a deeply strange concept if you think too hard about it. A grown man somehow being inserted into a first grade class and then going all the way. It's weird, right? That is some real Doubtfire stuff. So
doesn't he end up banging one of the teachers too during?
Yeah, I mean, he falls in love with his hot teacher. Who among us hasn't? I married mine, so that's fine.
Hey, wait, I did too.
Yeah, we both are married to hot teachers.
Damn.
But let's just take a second to focus on how bad it would suck to have to repeat elementary through high school. Right? Imagine I have dreams about that where you're like, oh my God, am I back in junior high? This is the worst. Right. And Jay, my middle school was populated with an army of O'Doyles. These guys that just like peaked in the 8th grade, still live in the same small town we grew up in. I'm sure they're still high-fiving the same 3 friends they went to kindergarten with and act like being the best dodgeball player in gym class is something that belongs on their resume. The kind of guys who now have Facebook pages with nothing but like photos of their motorcycles and the logo from their dad's landscaping company. These are the guys that I went to junior high with extremely rare exception. And now they would have cell phones. Can you imagine having the shittiest moments of your life posted on the internet? I don't know how kids do it today. I'm good. No, thank you. Billy Madison makes for a funny movie, but that's a punishment that I will take a hard pass on. You can give the company to Eric. I don't want that shit.
Oof. Damn.
Yeah.
That is a great choice. I love it. Well, I'm going to start with my number 5, and I think you'll figure it out as we go through it. But first, I'm just going to start with 2018's The Favorite, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. It's not a punishment in the smack your knuckles with a ruler kind of way, right? It's punishment as social warfare. Olivia Colman's Queen Anne spends half the movie punishing Sarah Churchill, who's played by Rachel Weisz, her longtime confidant, for speaking the hard truths. When Abigail Hill, who's played by Emma Stone, shows up, Anne punishes her too, usually right after promoting her. People get banished, humiliated, slapped, and shoved into mud. And that's kind of just before lunch, right? The whole court runs on this cycle of reward and cruelty, where being close to the queen means you're also first in line for punishment.
Did you just look at me? Did you? Look at me! Look at me! How dare you! Close your eyes!
So, at my number 5, the favorite, 2018, I will say, though, if you haven't seen it, you have to watch Olivia Colman in this film.
She's incredible in everything. I love Olivia Colman.
She's absolutely incredible in everything. She won Best Actress here for this film.
Yeah. And for me, Yorgos Lanthimos is appointment viewing. I can't skip that guy's films at this point.
In Coleman's acceptance speech, she actually thanked Lanthimos for the best experience of her life.
Great
I think
choice.
that might say a lot about Olivia Colman, maybe, that we didn't want to know. Anyway.
I think a dueling double bill of Billy Madison and The Favorite.
Holy shit.
My number 4, it's an entire film, actually. The experience of watching it is punishing. The character's life is emotionally punishing. And then in the end, she experiences an unjust punishment by the legal system that betrays her. I'm being a little vague here because I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but my number 4 is Lars von Trier's Dancer in the Dark.
Ugh. Yeah.
Lars von Trier is a sadist, and his entire artistic vision seems to be about subjecting humans to the worst kind of psycho-emotional horror he can think of, and then just seeing what happens.
Yeah.
And Dancer in the Dark might be the best version of just how punishing his films can be, and on how many different levels. Even in a real life level, because Bjork pretty famously has talked about what a brutal and punishing experience it was making this film with Von Trier. She also made some accusations about sexual harassment a few years later. I decided not to go into too much detail here in case our listeners hate themselves enough to want to check it out. And I think I honestly think that they should, because
she's great in it.
She is fantastic in it, and art should be challenging and difficult, and we should still have to stare it in the face sometimes.
If he doesn't have the operation next month, it's going to be too late, and he will never be able to see. This is what it's all about. So he can see his grandchildren, Kathy. Don't you understand?
Well, let me tell you something.
The only thing that's important to me in my whole life, and you don't understand it, Kathy. It's just plain stupidity to waste that kind of money on a blind woman who's going to spend the rest of her life in jail.
But he needs his mother, you know, alive, no matter where.
You don't understand. He needs his eyes.
He needs his mother.
No!
Yes, alive. No!
It's not something I want to subject myself to on a Saturday night with friends and a six-pack, but I do think that people should buy the ticket and take the ride, because it really is a brutal and crushing experience, but it is art, and she is fabulous. It's just like, make sure that you have a puppy to cuddle when the movie is over, because you are going to need it.
Yeah. It's a shame that Bjork was treated the way she was and had the experience that she did, because I feel as though there's a talent there that wasn't just Von Trier pulling a performance out of her. There was more than that in Bjork, clearly.
Yeah.
And I think the experience really soured her on making films in general.
Yeah.
So I think we lost a lot of good Bjork film performances.
I think you're right.
As a result of this film.
And isn't it interesting that Von Trier had kind of campaigned for years to get her in the he really wanted her. There was something, he saw something in her. He knew exactly.
Wanted to break her.
I guess, but he was very specific in wanting her, who didn't have a big acting resume, but there was something that he saw in her that he wanted specifically for this role. He got it. And then I think kind of destroyed something beautiful in the creation of this movie. So it's a punishing experience.
Well, we're going to shift gears, but not really all that far, truthfully, from what you're talking about, because we're going to talk about 2024's Kinds of Kindness, Okay. This film, also directed by Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yep.
It's a triptych. So you've got 3 different stories where everyone's punished in some way. And the first story, Jesse Plemons plays a guy who's boss, who's played by Willem Dafoe, controls everything he does, who he eats with, when he has sex, what car he drives. And he punishes him if he strays even a little. And oh my God, does he get punished in this. Then Emma Stone's character is punished by a cult when she fails their bizarre loyalty tests. And in the final story, Plemons comes back because it's the same cast, just rotating through roles. He comes back punishing himself, chasing after a supposed miracle worker with Stone right there, enabling the madness. Lanthimos loves to show how punishment is baked into the very structure of all of these relationships. It's not the exception here. It's the rule. And that is my number 4, Kinds of Kindness. And this was Stone's and Lanthimos' 3rd collaboration after The Favorite and Poor Things. And it earned her the Best Actress prize at Cannes. God damn. This guy and these actresses. Wow.
My number 3 is not a Yorgos Lanthimos film, although we could have just done 5 of his movies and kind of walked, right? I think there's fairness, right? In all of those, there's definitely punishment in all of those movies. But my number 3 is far afield from that, because what kind of despicable monster punishes a child with a weapon as cruel as chocolate cake?
You wanted cake, you got cake. Now eat it.
Directed by Danny DeVito in a more Tim Burton-esque film than anything Tim Burton has done in the last 15 years, by the way. Rewatching it, I was like, why isn't Danny DeVito making more movies like this? It is really very singular.
He made War of the Roses.
Yeah, and it's just, it's very unique. But good Lord, poor Bruce Bogtrotter. It's like, this thing is like a Lincoln town car of cake. And he had to eat the whole thing, suffering this in front of all of his classmates, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
And DeVito's direction, like, he makes you watching it feel nauseous. He makes you feel like you might explode. And he makes you feel like you might never eat chocolate cake ever again. That's not just punishment. That is inhumane.
Damn.
And now, of course, it has a happy ending because, as we all remember, this is a rallying cry. Little Mara Wilson gets up and let's go, Bruce. And here we go. And Bruce manages to finish the cake, lick the whole thing clean. The Trunchbull breaks the glass plate over his head. But that's how that goes.
That's another punishment.
That's
right
a whole
there.
other thing. But yeah, so my number 3.
Going through all that and then having her.
Yep.
God damn, what a villain.
Yep. Bruce Bogtrotter and the chocolate cake from Matilda.
Matilda may be flirting with the Hall of Lame at this point. I feel as though Trunchbull's come up
probably
a few times.
Probably.
My number 3 is The Lobster from 2015. Once again, Yorgos Lanthimos.
I see what we've done here.
Colin Farrell in this one checks into an infamous hotel where the rule apparently is very simple. Find a partner within 45 days or be turned into an animal of your choice. That's the headline punishment, but there are all kinds of smaller ones too. Masturbate and you get your hand shoved in a toaster. You step out of line and you're tranquilized like game. Even loners in the woods punish rule breakers with equal brutality, blinding, mutilation, or exile. So whether you're in the official world or the rebellion, it's punishment all the way down in The Lobster. Oh my God, Yorgos Lanthimos, what is going on? What is going on with you? I have never seen a filmmaker who dwells on punishment the way this guy does. Simply put. And we're not even near the worst of it yet.
We have a ways to go. My number 2 is another 90s film. This is a film that is generationally divisive. I bet you hate it.
Yeah, I do. I know what it is.
I kind of love it. People a few years younger than me adore it.
Yes.
We're talking about Steven Spielberg's Hook.
I absolutely knew when you even
Do you know
mentioned
The Punishment?
No, I don't. I don't know
The Punishment. Oh, it's the Boo Box.
Yes, you made a boo-boo.
I did. I did.
The boo box.
No,
The boo box.
As much as maybe you don't love Hook, Granddad, the Boo Box is a nasty way to make a pirate pay. In the film, a pirate is accused by Captain Hook of not being sufficiently impressed with his plan to get revenge on Peter Pan, and he sentences him to the Boo Box, which is when they cram you into an empty treasure chest and then drop live scorpions into it and go, boo!
Oh my
boo,
God. Yeah,
boo,
that's bad.
As they, right, that's the Boo Box. But there's a silver lining here because the pirate who was put into this box was played by a Hollywood powerhouse.
No way. Wow.
Glenn Close.
Huh?
Glenn Close was visiting the set that day. She was visiting Robin Williams, and Spielberg asked her if she wanted to do a cameo. So the makeup department made her absolutely unrecognizable as this male pirate. Yep.
Really?
And she had a brief scene where she is tossed in the Boo Box.
Damn. I never thought that I would want to go back and watch Hook again. But here I am, still not wanting to go back and watch Hook, but I will find that scene on YouTube because I'm sure somebody has clipped it.
Yes, they absolutely have. Yep.
Whew. Bullet dodged. Okay.
Are we going to watch Hook
moving
for that?
on.
Maybe I'll just, okay, hold on. Just make a note over here. Make Jason watch Hook.
If you were an ice cream flavor, you'd be praline and dick. My number 2, Punishment, is this movie. And it's Dogtooth from 2009. Good Lord. Here, Christos Sturgioglu plays a father who keeps his adult children locked inside their house, inventing a whole fake world for them. Step out of line and you're punished. Maybe, I don't know, beaten with a VHS tape? Maybe bloodied for talking back? At one point, he kills a stray cat in front of the kids, framing it as a terrifying monster to reinforce obedience. Even the so-called rewards aren't much better. Little trinkets or treats that keep the kids believing in his lies. It's a world where punishment isn't just discipline. It's literally the foundation of their entire family. And somehow this movie won the Un Certain Regard Prize at Cannes and its Best Foreign Language Film Oscar nomination. Was really the thing that put Lanthimos on the international map.
Yeah.
This movie is what got him in.
Yep.
Holy shit. Yep. If you've not seen this film, people of Filmjitsu land, I warn you, it's a tough watch.
But it's such a worthy watch. You've never seen anything like it.
No, you're right. You have never seen anything like it.
Yep. And that is true of, and this is why I love this thing that you have done with your list, because it would be easy to be like, oh, you just did 5 of this. But every single one of these guys' movies is so singular and so unique. And it's, even though there are common themes, every one of them feels like its own alien planet.
His aesthetic doesn't carry over from film to film.
Nope.
He somehow takes on a new persona every time he directs film. And so none of these films really feel. The one thing I will say he does is he turns Colin Farrell into a monotone, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Why lobster? Because lobsters live for over 100 years. Are blue-blooded like aristocrats. And stay fertile all their lives. I also like the sea. Very much. I water ski and swim quite well since I was a teenager.
I must congratulate you. The first thing most people think of is a dog.
Because everything is so matter of fact all the time. And I haven't quite figured out if I like it or I don't, which is a lot like most of Yorgos Lanthimos' films. I'm not sure if I like them or I don't like them, but I am sure as hell intrigued.
Yep. And some of them feel a little one-timey for me, but I think Lanthimos for me is a guy who I watch most of his films twice. I watch it once for like the car crash aspect of having watched the film. And then I have to be like, what the hell did I just see? And then I go back and kind of watch it for all the other stuff. And I mean that in an extremely complimentary way.
Yeah. So do I.
Yeah. Well, my number one, Jay, sure has come a long way from Chocolate Cake and Steven Spielberg. My number one is a film that almost demands, as a law of science, to be number one on a bottom 5 punishments list. It was the thing that if this didn't come up, I feel like our listeners would have been like, well, I'm done with Filmjitsu, right? It's like, it's almost elemental that it is here. It is most certainly from David Fincher's film Seven, a movie that itself is a list of bottom 5 punishments, right?
Yeah.
And while it gives us plenty to choose from, my pick is the 7 deadly sin of sloth, where a man is handcuffed to a bed, kept alive, and starved for exactly 1 year. They find him in this disgusting room with a bunch of the pine tree air fresheners hanging up to try and mask the scent of his like stinking, slowly rotting human flesh. His carcass is just wasted away to nothing, covered in sores. It's horrific. It is visceral.
And then
the jump scare, perhaps to end all jump scares.
For sure.
That is how a number one gets made. Honestly, you could choose any punishment in Seven and I wouldn't argue with you. But for me, sloth is the one that I still have nightmares about.
Yeah.
And that is my number one.
Yeah, it's an awful sequence for sure. And so unexpected. When that jump scare happens, oh my God.
Still gets me.
It's like the head that falls out of the bottom of the ship in Jaws.
Yeah, it's the timing.
Yeah, it's the timing.
Yeah, you think you got it and it gets you every time. That's a really great example. Both of those, no matter what. And I think that's the testament of a good film, is like a movie where you know the scare is coming and it still gets you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Seven is Jaws, but it absolutely works for me for a bottom 5. So
sure.
I think you're dead on right. So what was your number? Would it be funny if it just wasn't a Yorgos Lanthimos movie now after all that?
And I just totally pulled the rug out from under you and said, hey, it's also Matilda. Oh,
it's also Matilda.
No, it's not Matilda. It is definitely Yorgos Lanthimos' most punishing film, which is The Killing of a Sacred Deer from 2017. My God, Mike, what? What was this movie even? Barry Keoghan plays Martin. He's a creepy teenager who calmly informs heart surgeon Stephen, who's played by Colin Farrell in Monotone, that one of his family members has to die to pay for a past mistake, which was, of course, sort of killing Barry Keoghan's character's dad. If Stephen refuses, then Nicole Kidman, his wife, and their kids are punished with a grotesque checklist of maladies.
Yeah.
First, they lose their ability to walk. Then they can't eat. Then they go blind and bleed out of their eyes. And finally, they die. Jesus Christ. The entire film is this suffocating countdown of punishments. And Martin acting like some smug executioner of fate. It is absolutely horrific. I can't think of anything worse, honestly, than the climax of that film, which has Colin Farrell spinning around with a shotgun, trying to choose which of his family he's going to off so that not all of them die.
Yeah.
Where it lands, horrific.
And if I remember correctly, I don't think the film ever tells us how any of this is possible, right? They don't even tell you like what the mechanics are, and that's part of it. It's like,
I kind of love
just
that.
I do too. I think it's fantastic.
I think films that over-explain their concepts lose the audience.
Yeah.
And I think what's sort of magical about that film is it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's just happening. You don't stop and think about it.
Right.
You're dealing with the reality of the situation and how it's affecting these people.
What a good pick. I love that you did this Yorgos Lanthimos retrospective here for your bottom 5. And I really can't wait for you to check out Poor Things, because Poor Things is about a character that is being punished, but still sort of like rising above it always and finding joy in life. It's almost this like antidote.
Maybe that's why I haven't seen that one, Mike.
It's the happy one.
Oh, there's something wrong with me.
There is something wrong with you. It's got the most naked Emma Stone in it.
Then there's definitely something wrong.
Jason, we recently lost one of Hollywood's greats. The Robert Redford has passed. And what we have been doing in the past when we have lost somebody like we just recently did with Terrence Stamp is we've done a pick two, kick two, where we keep 2 of their films and rid ourselves of 2 of them. We decided with a guy of Robert Redford's stature, we didn't want to do that.
Right.
We just didn't want to kick Redford films. You couldn't do it. Right?
I can't imagine being in a situation where I have to kick something like All the President's Men.
Exactly.
I'd probably murder you.
Right. That's right. So we're not going to do that. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to combine that with our regular Dueling Double Bill, where we're going to make double bills using Robert Redford films. And so I think what we're going to do here is random generator. It's going to give us a couple of titles that we are either going to have to pair with a Robert Redford film, or it's going to give us Redford films and we have to pair a movie. I don't really know how the generator works.
I'm not sure really how it's going to work here.
Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
But that's the plan.
I put in Robert Redford, clowns, punishment. I'm not really entirely sure what we're going to get out of this, but I'm going to go ahead and work
that sounds like a search
now.
History that nobody actually wants to see. Like, don't tell me what the next thing is.
And our first film is going to be Shakes the Clown from 1991.
So that's what we did. We got a Robert Redford classic. We're starting with
Shake the Clown. Hey, you never know what the random movie generator is going to give you. It may give you a clown. It may give you punishment. It might give you a clown and punishment in this case.
Forget crime and punishment. Only here on this show you get clown and punishment.
Clown and punishment.
In all of the think pieces that have been written about Robert Redford and his career, I guarantee you nobody has ever managed to work Shakes the Clown into that conversation until right now.
That's right.
We're going to do that. Okay, so first film, Shakes the Clown.
Okay, first film, Shakes the Clown. All right, and next, Brubaker from 1980.
Oh, so we got a Redford title. So we got a 1-on-1.
So we got a 1-on-1. All right, we got a clown with punishment, and we got Robert Redford with punishment.
Okay.
Because Brubaker is about corruption in the penal system, right?
He poses as a warden or something, like he is the warden.
No, he is the warden.
He is the warden in Brubaker, and it's messed up, and he's
going to right the wrongs.
Right. Okay.
Is what he's going to do. And I don't know what kind of wrong I'm going to perform here, but I got an idea, because Brubaker is a absolute nexus of talent.
Okay.
Holy shit bananas. This movie is bonkers, dude. It was directed by Stuart Rosenberg, who is the helmer of my beloved Amityville Horror and many other people's maybe favorite Cool Hand Luke. So this was directed the year after Amityville Horror, but more importantly, the screenplay was written by W.D. Richter, the same guy that wrote The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension and co-wrote
Big
if
Trouble.
I'm not mistaken, Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah.
Wow.
He did that.
That's great. Okay.
The cast is out of control.
Mm-hmm.
As if Redford isn't enough on his own, which he is. Yaphet Kotto, David Keith, M. Emmett Walsh,
whoa,
Everett McGill.
No way.
And you're not going to believe this, an early appearance from Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
What the shit?
Wow.
It was nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the 81 Academy Awards. What are we even going to do with this movie? I can tell you what, out of all of that, the one thing that I glom onto, Lalo Schifrin did the music.
No, you're not serious.
I'm dead serious. Lalo Schifrin did the music. Amityville Horror, again, right?
Uh-huh.
He works with Rosenberg. He did Cool Hand Luke.
So
but he also did. I got an idea. Okay. All right.
This is for all those lay-low heads out there. The shifties out there. The shifties, is that what we're calling them? This is for the shifties? This is a very Santo situation. Everybody's like, who the fuck is Lalo Schifrin?
Schifrin wrote, we need some with clowns. So I'm going to go with Rush Hour.
Okay.
With Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. It's Schifrin Fest. So we got Rush Hour and Brubaker.
So
this is a contrast pairing is what this is.
Oh, is it? Really?
In moods.
So you mean to tell me Lilo Schifrin wrote the music in Brubaker and also for Rush Hour?
Yes, he wrote the music for Rush Hour as well.
And thus is your double bill.
That's my double bill. It's a Schifrin Fest.
Okay.
What is your genius pairing with Brubaker?
As much as I love the absolute like lottery tumbler that is your brain, just like knocking balls around in there until something pops out of your Schifrin Fest, I'm going to go with a little bit more of a logical thread. I think for me, I am going to go with 2001's a Robert Redford. There's no rule, right? We can pair a Redford title with a Redford title. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And really like, let's, I'm going to honor the guy.
I mean, you could clown around, but I guess, you're not in the mood.
I'll get to that. I'm going to do 2001's The Last Castle, where Robert Redford plays a disgraced military general. He ends up in this maximum security prison where James Gandolfini plays the ruthless, I think, criminal warden of the prison. And that's the pairing that I like, right? In Brubaker, Redford plays the warden. In this one, he opposes the warden. He gets that uprising with the other inmates and all that kind of thing. I think it works.
It's worth watching just for Gandolfini, to be perfectly honest.
He's good.
He's so good in that film. That's a really engaging thriller. There's a lot of action in that one. Brubaker's more of a steady drama. I see what you're doing. I like my contrast. I'm not going to lie. No, I mean, thematically, yours, of course, it makes more sense. It does.
More than Schifrin Fest. Well, let's revisit it. Why don't we move on to Shakes the Clown? What Robert Redford title are you just like, I mean, duh. What are you pairing with Shakes the Clown?
So the idea here is I'm going for a totally different kind of comedy. And just imagine the marquee. A double bill that says the Sacks and Shakes. Okay? No, okay. All right, no. Because in Barefoot in the Park, Robert Redford plays a guy whose last name is Sacks.
Oh.
And he's married to Jane Fonda. They're the Sacks, newlyweds, right?
Okay.
So they're the Sacks, right? And Shakes, Sacks and Shakes.
So I'm supposed to, this double bill is just because it's funny that it says Sacks, Shakes?
No, because back in the 60s, Neil Simon was writing something that was a little subversive. It was a little edgy. It was a little different. It was cerebral. It was funny. It had good characterization, but it was challenging. It was challenging to societal norms. And I think that what you see in 1990s with Shakes the Clown is the kind of challenge to societal norms and comedy that Bobcat Goldthwait sort of perpetrated. So you're ending up with two very different generational takes on subversion.
Hold on.
And I love it.
That is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard.
No, I'm serious.
You totally convinced me. I can't believe I'm saying
bullshit.
this. I can't believe I'm saying that.
It works. Sacks and Shakes.
Okay, let's just back up and see what you did here. You just saw Sacks and Shakes is funny. But in the moment after you made that joke, you put together a completely reasoned argument. I'm kind of amazed, honestly. This is all right. I'm buying this an awful lot more than Schifrin Fest, but okay. My pairing for Shakes the Clown is going to be from a year later, 1992, the Robert Redford techno comedy thriller Sneakers. Also with a fabulous cast, right?
Yeah, unbelievable cast.
And Dan Aykroyd. But
fuck you,
Sidney Poitier, Ben Kingsley,
great cast.
The River Phoenix,
sure. Great cast that does not belong at all sharing any time with Shakes the Clown.
Well, but here's the thing: I think the combination here, right? Shakes the Clown is he is this character that he's framed for murder, and the whole movie is him trying to like get off the hook. I think he's framed for murdering a mob boss, and Sneakers is about Robert Redford as this like security tech guy who is framed by the NSA for murder, and he puts together this sneakers crew to try and clear his name, basically. And so thematically, those kind of things work. But for some insane reason, I'm still behind your pick. So, but listen, this Schifrin Fest, as fun as that was to imagine, is I don't know what you're talking about here. I propose a split ticket here on this one. I think you should get the point for
Sacks and Shakes.
Shakes and Sacks there. But I do think that Brubaker pairs a little bit better with the Last Castle. Especially if we want to.
No,
I think if we're going to it's also, I think, the better way to honor Robert Redford, which is really kind of what we're trying to do.
We're not trying to honor Lalo Schifrin.
So, well, not today.
Fine. Mike, after all this talk about punishments and clowns and Robert Redford and Schifrin Fest, I'm not sure how we end up where we end up, but I think when the roulette wheel spins and spins and spins and it finally lands, it lands on punishment every time.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Because this is Filmjitsu at the end of the day. And I have to tell you, this punishing pick has been a long time coming.
Okay.
A very good friend of mine, who coincidentally is also named Jay, he's been absolutely badgering me to assign this movie to you.
Oh.
And yeah.
Is this a thing that happens to you too, where people are like messaging you what I should have to watch?
Oh, yeah.
Because I want you to know, I got a text today from your sister telling me what you should watch in December. I just want you to know that. So this guy's got it out for me. He doesn't even
listen to the show necessarily. I'm not even sure he does, but he wants to punish you, Mike. So here we go.
All right. Everybody in the name of Jay's everywhere, I guess.
This is overdue.
Okay.
We have never discussed a certain director. And I want you to picture this. That someone, for reasons history may never explain, someone handed Uwe Boll $60 million to make his own discount version of The Lord of the Rings. He blew it on 2+ hours of dreary fantasy cliches, wooden dialogue, and a cast that somehow includes Jason Statham, Ron Perlman, Ray Liotta, Layli Sobieski, John Rhys Davies, Burt fucking Reynolds, and Matthew Lillard.
Because why not? Are you telling me I have to watch a Lord of the Rings knockoff with late career Ray Liotta? And the costumes are going to be so fucking bad in this movie. I can tell already.
They're going to be rough. There's going to be zippers all over the place. I am sure. This movie is long.
Oh, good.
It's joyless.
Great.
It's infamous, and it's all yours. Mike, your next punishment is Uwe Boll's In the Name of the King, a dungeon siege tale.
Oh, good. Because what other kind of name of kings could you have other than dungeon siege?
Dungeon siege.
Wow. Okay. So, In the Name of the King, a dungeon siege tale.
That's accurate. Yes, there is a colon.
Okay, of course. Yep. I think I'm getting it in that colon. So what is the bottom 5 that's going to go with this?
Naturally, bottom 5 kings.
Oh, okay. All right. Bottom 5 kings. Yes. Yes. Well, I'm glad that we are finally going to talk about Uwe Boll, because we have to. Otherwise, they take away our podcast license. The FCC will take us off the air immediately, I believe. Is that how that works? Is that how internets work? I don't know.
Did we piss off Trump this week?
I hope so. If we did, if we haven't, let's take a minute to do that. Yeah. Bottom 5 kings. Yeah, there we go. Done. Right there.
Done.
Okay, good.
Boom.
So, if you are still with us, we hope that you will come back next week and join us when I will review, deep breath, In the Name of the King, a dungeon siege tale directed by Uwe Boll.
But until then, we've been your hosts. I am Jay.
And I am Mike.
And we'll see you next time.
Mislim na te, hoću znat sve kate, vježbaću sate i sate. Karate, nježno ću dok zadnji mi kjaj izostane izađe.
What we're gonna find out is there's this whole like subculture of like Buddhist clowns that dress as clowns to like spread the word of Buddhism, and they probably do a ton of really great like philanthropic work. There's probably a bunch of like really sweet Buddhist clowns,
mimes.
And now
they're going to be mimes.
Maybe, yeah, it's probably mimes.